I'm just going to wait a couple of seconds and boom, we're live.
Yeah, I'm alive.
You're live?
Yeah, I'm alive.
I'm too.
Yeah, lucky you told me that. Otherwise, we would never have known I was alive. Thanks,
Goodness.
Hey, gang. How you going? How is everybody? So we would like to welcome you into our Get Healthy and Happy High Performance Experience tonight. Our call that we've been doing weekly, bringing you different things about health, fitness, business, and just all-round life.
Hey, Marcus.
Hey gang, nice to see you all. So we're bringing you this call weekly so that we can bring you the insight, the tools and the inspiration that you need to live a life that you love in every aspect. And that's why we're touching on different topics and things that affect Jason and I, or that we see on a day-to-day basis from people that are struggling with their health, their fitness, or with business in general, or just in general with keeping, their heads above water in life. So, whether it be with a mental illness, anxiety, depression, drugs, alcohol, we know that that's a very hot topic at the moment, drugs and alcohol. And I think even self-medication, Jason, is, definitely on the increase from people out there, because they're struggling with, either, they have some kind of, ache or like a serious body issue, and then they've got the medication that's easily accessible, and then one thing leads to another. So isn't it? It's an interesting topic, that's for sure. So we are definitely about how we can get through the tough days without self-medicating, for sure, and passing our tips on to you, and how you can beat the struggle of life, especially with what you might be embarking on, whether it be financial, whether it be something that you've been just like told by a doctor, or whatever road that you might be facing at the moment. So we deliver real experiences, and we help you through those. And we know that we've got to go through the motions of life, but we can also definitely get through things a little bit easier. So yeah. So how's your week been so far, Jace? I know that we're not even 24 hours into today, but we're just about, not long to go.
Well, yeah, weekend was great. We spent a nice Sunday morning down the beach, taking our little fur fuzzball for a walk. And it was really nice. So, I mean, I can't believe we're still having a nice warm day. It's like it's just been so summery. Yeah, so it was fantastic. Yep. And you're heading into a beginning of the week, busy, flat out.
And I'm just going to say we must give that restaurant down at Kingscliff a really good plug. We went down met up with a few of the girls, which was really amazing, some real close girlfriends. And we went to Spice Thai, I think it was, or Spice Temple at Casuarina Beach. So if you're looking for a really lovely restaurant or want to take your partner somewhere, then that restaurant is really lovely. And apparently you can get nights down there at the moment for about $170, and then you've got your meal. But it's not the cheapest of restaurants, but absolutely amazing, and cocktails were to die for. Actually, I didn't even have a cocktail. What the girls were having, I had a glass of Sauv Blanc. That was what I decided on. That was beautiful as well. So, Jace, guys, hi Margaret, hi Chris-Anne, nice to see you guys. So we've had a rip-roaring month in business this month, as far as new members that we've got. So the new chickie babies joined into our business, which we're really excited. So I've got a beautiful girl named Cassie that I met 11 years ago, and we've been able to stay connected on social media, so that's really cool. And not that we've had much interaction with each other at all, but, maybe she's been watching from afar. So big shout out to you, Cass, if you're on our Facebook Live. And another beautiful woman.
And she's just popped up.
Has she? She has not.
Yeah.
And our other beautiful woman is Hayley. So Hayley has popped up. How you going, Hayley? So I'd love to say a big shout out to you. And I'm so excited to have you on our team. And I'm excited to work alongside you, which is really cool. And Cass just hopped on as well. So that's super cool as well. So massive shout out to you girls. And we look forward to walking you through and teaching you what we know and helping you to move mountains in this business as well. So that's I just think the power of social media. And one of the girls, unbelievably, I met through like a secondhand site on Facebook, and I was looking for some sheepskin seat covers. Actually, it didn't have to be sheepskin, but some seat covers for an old 4-wheel drive we bought at Christmas time. And that's how we kind of have just started our relationship, which has been amazing. So yeah, really cool. I did say to Jason, I said when I met her, I was like, I'd love to be able to do work with her, but there you go. So what you put out there, you get, don't you?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So we're going to go through tonight some really great tips. But first of all, I've got a couple of packets sitting here. So I don't know what you guys do in terms of food and how you stay on track and how you keep your calories down, or whether you count calories, count points. Like what is it that you do? So if you can drop in the comments and let us know, what you do, or what you hate, what you don't like when it comes to dieting, and what you'd like to get away from. So a few years ago, I stepped away from the calorie counting, the point counting, and even tracking. Like sometimes I go to Fitness Pal and I'll occasionally sort of go on and, see where I'm sitting at. But I remember one amazing person said to me one day, she said, look, Kyla, she said, does your food change that much over, like the years? And I said, no, not particularly. She said, do you gain excess weight like ridiculously over time? And I said, no, not really. She said, well, your clothes are a good indicator as to tell you what's going on, and you don't need to be getting on the scales, and you don't need to necessarily be calorie counting or macro counting unless you're like going into some bodybuilding competition. We really need to look at a way that's a lot easier in this life to be able to manage our food, our health, our weight, and all that kind of stuff. So Jason and I, for a long time now, have been buying, I guess, like packets of salad mixes already made up, tins of salmon, and doing really things really, really simply because life is so fast paced. So, that's something that, over the coming months and, whatever, we'll, love to be able to share with you what it is to do. But it's not something that I say is like absolutely like out of the world amazing and that you should be having these every night. But Marion's Kitchen, so I'm going to give Marion a bit of a plug tonight. So Marion's Kitchen, so I've always got a couple of these boxes in the cupboard. They cost.
Now would these be anywhere else in the world? Because we have other viewers watching. So
well, anywhere else in the world, I'm not sure.
Anyway.
They're definitely, I think, New Zealand, but I'm not sure where they are. But you'd have something similar, possibly. And these have like different packets in them, so it's already done for you. So if you're a curry person or you like a few spices, so this one here is a Thai massaman curry. And what happens in this box? What's in the box? Is you have all of these packets. It's amazing. It's really cool. And you can follow the step-by-step instructions. So number one, you would fry the curry in the fry pan, the curry mix. And then step number two is you would, heat your oil in the fry pan. Put your curry paste in, and then you would add your meat if you eat meat. And if you don't eat meat, you would add some vegetables, chickpeas, whatever it might be that suits your lifestyle. And so you would be frying that. And then step two is you would add in the coconut milk. And I add that, and I put in sometimes about half a cup of water as well, just to make it go a bit further. I put heaps and heaps of vegetables in. And then step three is this packet here. And you've got chilies and lime leaves and coriander and all that. So that goes in. And then the last step, if you choose to, you don't have to put them in if you don't want to, but you have a packet of peanuts as well that you can also add to your meal too, which is awesome. So that's our tip. And so Monday night, whatever is really quick and easy and that we can manage in amongst our busy lifestyles, we found that that's been, working well for us. So in that curry, I'll use like sweet potato and lots of vegetables because I don't eat meat. Jace does, but he's so kind and just follows what I do. But what I do in this one, which is another Marion's box, is a San Choy Bao, is I use this mince here, which is obviously meat-free, but the corn, I use about half a packet for us and load it up with heaps of vegetables. I've got lettuce cups ready to go. And
I have to say before you go, when Kyla first done this, I actually thought, do you realise you've got meat in this meal? And she goes, no. And I actually thought it actually tastes like meat. So I was pretty happy with that. So, for a guy that doesn't loves meat, it passes.
Thank you. And instead of using the rice noodles that are in this box here, I use these noodles here. So these noodles cost you 0 in calories if you are counting. They are made from the root of a vegetable, which is the cognac root. And they, if you were to line pasta up against these guys, I don't really think pasta has a lot of taste. It's what's put with the pasta that carries the taste. So if you want noodles and or pasta and you don't want to have to count like massive points or calories or whatever it might be. That's something that I definitely do keep out of my diet most of the time. But this here is, I love them. I absolutely love them. So these come in liquid. So there's liquid in the packet, and you just put them in a strainer. Some people say the liquid smells a little bit, but it's just like vegetable, like like a.
Oh, is what that funny smell is when you're cooking
when
it?
you wash them out.
Yeah,
I get
right.
Jace to wash them out sometimes. Anyway, so then you rinse them and you put them into boiling water, and then you just add them into your meal. So that's what we'd have instead of rice, or we still occasionally have like rice, mostly basmati, white rice. I'll have a bit of brown rice, but this is like our go-to most of the time during the week, so that we can keep on top of our health and our health goals. So that's just a couple of tips for you tonight on the food side of things. So let's jump into, I guess this is more about like mental like well-being and how to keep strong when it comes to like business and how to have long-term success. So I've got life, health, fitness, and business.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 7 tips to talk to you about tonight, and like just go through and help you if you feel like you don't continue with your success, or sometimes you stop before you've even got started. So what do you reckon, Jace?
Go for it.
Okay, so you've got a few tips along the way. So I'll start us off and go into tip number 1. So tip number 1 is not comparing yourself to others. And this has to be one of my number 1 things that I'm not great at. I don't know whether I compare myself, but I think, it must be because I say I'm not good enough. Yeah? Okay, well, I'll change that.
I was just going to say,
okay, let's get honest here. Okay, we know this is about honesty being on here, isn't it? That's for sure.
Yeah.
Hang on, Em. Nice to see you. Okay, so not comparing yourself, and I've got thinking that you don't belong wherever it may be, that you want to get involved. Like, stop thinking like that. So, if you take a different course in life, or you want to, focus on something that's a little bit newer, and I don't think age has to be a dictator for that at all. No. We started in a new business, when I turned 38, and, like it was, one of the best decisions that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas, you could go, oh, I'm too old. And now I'm also looking at something else that I'm 42. So, I don't think it's that age has to be a predictor of us not, trying or getting involved in different things.
But in saying that, if you are in your 20s and your mid-30s now, and you keep thinking to yourself, oh, I'm going to do this business when I've accomplished this, or when I've got a little bit extra more pocket money, don't do it now. Jump in, and whatever that you're passionate about, do it. Don't wait for another 5 years or whatever.
And keep that thought, because that's kind of going to go into another one of my tips. But so the next part of this one is not comparing yourself. Is one of my favorite quotes was comparison is the thief of all joy. So I know that with social media, Instagram, probably YouTube, there's different apps that are coming out now, TikTok, we've got Facebook, all of those platforms, that it's really, really easy in this day and age. And again, it doesn't matter how old you are to compare yourself to others and think that you're not good enough. Mm-hmm. So we've got to be really careful as to what we do with that. So, how often are we scrolling through and, just doing that unlimited, finger, like I've got a really good muscle. No, I don't actually. And I've stopped myself, a long time ago from doing that, because it was just so much comparison. And it was so much time wasting. So, and it didn't serve me well. And I love that. If it doesn't serve you, then, maybe cut it out.
Okay. And on that note, as of last night when I got home, guess what? I deleted off my phone and my iPad.
What?
Netflix. It's gone.
What? So
no more Netflix.
Why?
Because it wastes too much time watching it. So I've decided that is one habit, or one it's holding me back, I guess, in really getting through some stuff that I need to get through, and that's reading my book. And now that I've wiped that off, I will do a 10-minute audio and follow along in the book at the same time. So
I have to say I'm proud of him. Give him a thumbs up if you're proud of him. Nathan, don't you say anything. I see you just popped up there. Okay, so don't encourage him either way to go back to Netflix. Good on you, Jason. I'm super proud of you. So you're just waiting to share that with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So don't worry if you don't belong. And, quite often, and you think about, going through school and whether you're bullied, like I was bullied a little bit at school, and, you have that, childhood things that kind of take you through adulthood as well, and you think, okay, I don't really feel like I belong, or somebody else is doing something better. Like with these lives, it's like, oh, I don't know whether I should get on and do this. But we know that what we have in store and what we want to achieve, that this is part of what we're doing, and we've kind of got to go from here to there, but we've got to do the in-between stuff, and that's the hard part, and that's where people give up.
Yep. And on that note too, thank you everyone for jumping on tonight. I've seen some names go scrolling through, so if we haven't, you've said hi, big shout out to you guys. Thanks for
Gary,
listening.
Saw your car today, looking very beautiful. Okay, so awesome that we, that we do belong. We have to just, again, not put ourselves up against other people, and we all have a different message to deliver, and we all gel or connect with other people. So we've got to worry about that, or not worry about that. Which is cool. Okay, so number 2 is do it authentically. And a lot of stuff on social media is done not very authentic, and I guess I had a really hard time with that for probably a couple of years, thinking that that's not what I want to be. And that's fair enough to think and say that, but then you've got to get over it and get on and do your thing. Instead of going, I don't like what that person does, or I'm not into that, or that's not who I am. We will attract people with our realness and rawness with what we're doing. And it may not be the whole world, which would be, imagine that, but it's the same as Tony Robbins. I mean, he's got his amazing people that love what he does, and then he has people that will follow Brendan Burchard. So it's just one of those things. So do it authentically, do it real, and the way that you would do it is that you wouldn't copy other people. So I mean, there's a thing of taking you listen to things and you think, oh, that's great, and then you put it into your own words. And I know that we don't have to reinvent things in today's day and age, but just making sure that we don't copy people, straight up, and don't fit into everybody else and what they do. We need to run our own race, because you guys, each one of you, have so much of your own potential. And that's something that I'm telling myself at the moment as well, that we all have our own potential, and that we can deliver, whatever message it is that we might have as well. So anything else on that one, Jess?
No.
Okay, so let's keep moving. So number 3 is don't avoid situations that are difficult. Now, this is super interesting, and I absolutely love this. And I think I would have to put testament to where we are in our lives, Jess, is because we don't avoid difficult situations. We actually tackle them head on. As soon as I see that a situation is difficult and I go, oh, I'm not going to do that, that is more reason for me to go in and say, okay, we're going to do that. We're going to give it a go. So why would you not avoid situations that are difficult? So let me tell you a couple of reasons. So if you avoid challenging things in your life, you will not get the momentum that you need in order to keep moving forward or showing up. It's pretty full on. So if you are someone who doesn't, get themselves into a little bit of a difficult situation, or you're a bit fearful, or you're a lot fearful, or, you just don't step out of your comfort zone, then you're not trying. You're simply not trying. And that's hard to say that. And I'm sure some of you will be like, oh, that's a stab to the heart. But, I really apply that principle to our lives, my life. And I know that the more that I try and I push through the things that I think that I can't do, and when you achieve them, I tell you what, it's a magical feeling.
And it is. And I mean, I can vouch for that. I guess one of them would be in exercising. When you first introduced me to RPM spin class, I hated it, couldn't stand it. Did it a couple of times and said, never bring me back to that place ever again. And now I do it pretty much once a week for the last 3 years now.
Including
4 years.
4 or 5 other gym sessions and what you do as well.
So it's just pushing yourself, and then realizing once you've done it, it can actually make you feel better, and you feel more confident in doing other things.
Yeah. And the thing is, with something like RPM or, going into a bike class, is that, people are fearful of it because it definitely is challenging, but it's more of a mind game. It's a real mind game. And I think anything like that, go into a session with a personal trainer, your body will always carry you through 99.9% of the time. It's your mind that will stop you.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I thrive and I love RPM class so much, is because it's not only a quadruple calorie burn when you're doing the class, but it also is a mind game. And you know what? If you're doing a 45-minute class, all it is 7 songs. So once you get through the first track, you've only got 6 more. once you get through 2 tracks, you've only got 5.
Yep.
Once you get through 3, you've only got 4. And,
then
so
you're done.
you count down or you count back to whatever works for you to keep you engaged and to keep going in, whatever it might be.
Yep.
Okay, so don't avoid situations that are difficult. I think we've covered that pretty awesomely. And your brain, this is the other reason why you wouldn't avoid them, is because your brain will fire up, and if you don't, your brain won't fire up. So who doesn't want to not have their brain fired up? Especially as we get older, we want to make sure that we keep on using that grey matter, because we know that we don't have long to keep that going as well. So don't avoid the tough stuff. Make sure that you get stuck into whatever it is. Do you know what? If you've been a child that's been raised to, not put yourself out there, or you've, been everything's kind of got a bit of a fear factor to it, then in your mind pretty much what the truth of it is, and that you're not going to die from it. I've got a girlfriend that always says in our team from New Zealand, she's like, I didn't die from it. I survived whatever it might be. So, as long as it's not going to be a life and death situation, of course, we're not saying that, but, to always go in and jump into something that could be difficult, and you will be amazing. You will totally shock yourself. You'll rock your socks off and you will feel amazing. So, okay, so number 4 is work on your daily goals. So you know that Jason and I are huge on Mondays. Mondays are the most important day of our week. We know that if you set yourself up strong on a Monday, your week will carry on and be exactly the same. Now, people often laugh at me and go, I say like tiny mini goals, and one of them is getting out of bed on a Monday morning. How can that be possibly a goal? For some people that do struggle with mental illness, getting out of bed can be the one of the hardest things to achieve, in that day, or staying out of bed actually.
Yeah.
So, like for us to be able to get out of bed. Now, what I've been doing lately is following Tony Robbins, and it's a really great, I think it's 10 minutes, and he takes you through how to do a bit of meditation. Now, this is new to me because I just don't sit still, and I'm scratching and I'm moving and I'm patting the dog. So I'm still training myself to sit quietly, but he takes you through and you're listening to his voice, and it's really quite good. It's not airy-fairy. It's not like, weirdo.
No, it's just, you're actually sitting there, and just for a while, you're just concentrating on how your body's feeling, what's going through your mind. If anything's negative coming through, it helps you to get rid of that negativity and start thinking about positive things, so that when you finish that 10 minutes, you can get up and take on the rest of the day.
Yeah. Hey, Carrie, if you're there, hi, you're still there watching. And he talks about, or he asks you to think of 3 things that you want to achieve, either, like this week, this month, or this year. And, it's really amazing to be able to think of those things. And I most of the days I've chosen like things I want to achieve during the actual day. And you know what, without fail, I have, and normally I might have gone, I can move that over to tomorrow, but I've achieved everything that I've gone through, and literally just sat there and thought about and how I feel about achieving it and what it feels like. And, I've been able to accomplish that. So I'm really quite confident to say that to you. So guys, if you want the link for that, just let me know, send me a private message and I'll send that through to you. So working on your daily goals. So you cannot show up randomly, because this is what causes us to feel less motivated. So if you have goals on a Monday, then you need to show up. If it's Sunday night, you need to get yourself prepared, or you need to come earlier home from an event that you're at, or, you need to cut things a little bit shorter, or you need to, not drink as much alcohol so you're a bit more tidy for Monday, coming through. Then these are really important things to be able to set your goals up and to achieve what it is that you want to achieve as well. So guys, you might go, okay, over the year, I've got, 1 to 5 goals that I want to achieve by the end of 2019. And quite often what we do is we set up these, goals at the start of the year, but because we've not broken them down, or we've gone, we want to lose weight, but we've not made them into anything that's substantially important to us. So why do you want to lose weight? And, why is that important to you? And you've got to, dig a bit deeper to be able to get to the, the core root of what this is. So pick out, and it's still not too late at this time of year to be able to go through that as well, but have goals. Like Jason and I have got goals. I've got goals by August. I'll, work on them or look at them quarterly. So break them up into quarterly, so that it helps you achieve these goals over the year as well. So that's our tip number 4.
I was just going to say too, like you said, we're up to coming into May, and a lot of people have probably forgotten about their New Year's resolution or what they're going to do, but it's never too late.
No.
Just revisit. And as Kyla said, just take those small steps.
And if it's difficult because you revisit it, or it's difficult because you didn't achieve it, then your brain's not fired up and you're not trying hard enough. It's as simple as that. So, if you're not trying, then you're not going to achieve it.
Yep.
That's the plain cold hard facts. So number 5 is visualize and meditate on the goals that you want to achieve. So I've just talked about Tony Robbins. So I'll pop that link up if anyone asks or what would like that. And, like a couple of my affirmations, I've got my vision board here, and a couple of things, if I could read them out to you, if that would be okay. I've got.
Of course it's okay, because they can't go anywhere.
Okay, so they're captured, aren't they? Okay, so I am strong, I am brave, I am a great wife. Sometimes. I am a good friend. I am a great leader worthy to be followed. I love to get up early. I love reading. I eat clean, and I love exercising regularly. I'm a business builder magnet. I'm attracting women into my business. And if you're there and you're wanting to jump on board and, link arms with Jason and I, then we're ready for you. What else can I go? So anyway, they go on, and you just got to do things that work for you as well. So the next one, so tip number 6 is change your internal self-talk. This is something that I seriously have to work on, and be conscious of
I think
consistently.
We all do.
Yeah. So it has to be positive. Our self-talk has to be positive. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips, and you might have heard this word overwhelmed. Do you use it often? I'm overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. Like I've got so much on. I don't know how I'm going to cope, how I'm going to get through. So this is a word that I've used quite frequently in my talk. So instead of using that word, celebrate that you're on the brink of being overwhelmed. Like, yeah, it means that, things are moving forward, and you will get through it. You will definitely get through it. So not using that word and using things like, I am so happy and grateful that I am being challenged right now. Challenged, that is an understatement. So, you can turn it into a little bit more of a positive. If you're this person that the cup is half empty all the time, you see the negatives in every single thing, then you have the power, you have the ability to be able to change that self-talk. Yep. So, do you catch yourself, like being the negative Nancy all the time? Okay, the next one is, I don't know what to do. Do you know what? I'm so sorry to say this to you guys, but if you open up your phone or your laptop and you open up Google or Safari, I guarantee you will find whatever it is you need to find.
Exactly. And I'm glad Kyle put that out, because I was listening to a podcast today. And then today we have so much, we don't need to go to the library or anything like that anymore.
They must be quiet, eh?
Yeah, there must be. Like, you can go to YouTube and there's everything you can learn, from how to tie your shoelace up to take down a curtain, you know what I mean? Like, there's everything's there. Like,
I love that, Jason. So what do you say a curtain? Like, what makes you as a man just then say the curtain thing? What happened to you?
Okay, so one of my jobs, we had to pull down some blinds, because if no one knows, I'm a painter by trade, and we're painting this house, and had to pull down the blind, and we couldn't get it down. We didn't know how to take it down. So I actually rung the owner. I said, have you taken your blinds down once before? And they said, yes, just YouTube it. So fair enough, I YouTubed the brand of it and what sort it was, and there we go. There was a guy there showing exactly how to pull this blind down. Yeah. And so there you go. We have everything on YouTube.
We sure do. So if you don't know what to do, then you need to work out how to use Google and YouTube and find out anything within seconds. Something as simple as, for all those people that are on Instagram or that use Facebook and are looking at, using their businesses or are using them to progress in their business. If you've seen on some Instagram pages, you'll notice in the bio that people have got unusual writing. So normally if you just use your keyboard, you can't change the writing format on your bio. But if you go into www.something.com, you can change that format. So if you watch this video and you would like to know what that format is, then message me and I'll send you the link to that as well, because it's super cool, it's super easy, or you can do whatever we just said. Anyway, let's move on to the third one. So this isn't working for me. It just isn't working. Oh my goodness. Like what I'm embarking on at the moment, or what Jason and I are doing, and he's encouraging me, it's like, I just can't, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think it's working for me. Actually, you're not working for it to work for you. Oh, that's so hard to hear, isn't it? So this isn't working for me. Actually, you're not working for it to work for you. Okay. Yep. The last one is don't find the easy way out. Who of you would always find the easy way out? Just do the job half done. Just do a very basic job. Oh, I find that really hard. And that comes down from my father. So he is a man that finishes a job ridiculously, doesn't he?
Yeah, overboard.
Well,
sorry.
But it's always finished. It's always finished. It's overboard to you because you don't. Should we get into a debate here on social media, James?
I wouldn't pay him by the hour, put it that way.
That's very funny. That's good. That's good. No, you wouldn't do that. So, don't find the easy way out. And that's, if your personality, I think all of us, if we could get a little bit easier, that's not a wrong thing.
I probably should say, don't find the easy way out, but there's nothing wrong with finding an easy way to do something.
Yeah, that's so true.
And that's what your dad doesn't do.
No, he has to figure it out for himself. He does the whole journey, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I guess when you say, don't find the easy way out or find an easier way.
Yeah.
And this is, I guess, in the business that we do with network marketing, isn't it? Like we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
No.
Although social media has become a huge part of this industry. Yeah. And, it's really finding that fine line between, what we discuss and, being open, real and honest and finding our tribe of people, isn't it? And we're using social media to be able to do that.
It's not working harder, it's working smarter.
That's true. It's getting ready at 7:00 at night to hop on a live.
Yeah.
So being resourceful. So go find what it is that, you'll be able to get through whatever question or whatever, task that you need to find out how to do that. So, and I think the thing is, you can always look back on people and go, well, she did it, or they were able to find out how to fix that. Why can't we do that? So you guys have got the power to be able to do that as well. Okay, so hey, on Nicole, nice to have you on. Okay, so and the last tip, so we've got 7, and the last one is persevere. So keep moving forward. Perseverance is definitely the key. Know that you have. I love this, and I think we've been talking about this so much, Jason. Is that, and it's what has really kept me going lately. Is that I'm here, but I want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really desperately want to be here. But I've got to go through as much as everybody has to go through that in-between patch. You've got to learn and you've got to be able to continue to get to that end patch. And that's why you've got to break down your goals, and that's why you've got to achieve small things during the day, because that makes you feel good and that keeps you going, keeps your brain fired, and it keeps you consistently consistent. And, when you go through things that, can be debilitating, again, especially with a mental illness, you can, pick yourself up again and you keep on going through. So, definitely, like I think if I can do it, if you don't have a mental illness, you can definitely do it. There's no excuse for people that, don't have something that holds them back.
And if it's a business that you're doing and you feel like you're getting stopped, keep moving forward. Because if you look at, for example, top of my head, Mr. Walt Disney, he got sacked at his newspaper because he said he never had enough imagination where he was. And now, obviously, we know the history on that.
Yeah.
So, so always keep moving forward and always, keep your passion alive.
Yeah. Whatever that might be. So that's it. That's the end of our episode 12. Unbelievable, eh?
Yes. And again, as always, please share this with 3 people.
You're popping.
Don't know.
Yeah.
It's the muscles popping out of my chest. But please share this with 3 people. We love to have more on here each week. And hopefully.
Hopefully, we will.
We'd love to hear any of your advice.
Yeah.
And if you didn't like us, too bad, you miss out. No. But for those, again, thank you for joining us.
Yeah. And I'd like to say that as well. Hey, Leslie, thank you so much. So again, if you know anyone that does have a mental illness, has depression or anxiety, possibly has drug and alcohol in their families and is struggling as well, Jason and I are going through that within our families at the moment. And, it really is, a challenge. And, watching parents that are dealing with their children and, almost enabling them and, being siblings that are on the outside and, wanting to be like, don't do that, is really, really quite challenging, and it interferes with the whole family emotionally, physically, mentally, and everything else. And all that stuff that we've talked about tonight, really does mean that you've got to, put some of those things into, into practice so that you can get through some of those very, very challenging times. And, we know that, like I mentioned at the start of the live, is that drugs and alcohol are so prevalent. We know that alcohol you can get no worries at all, but drugs seem to be something that is just as easy to be able to, get, probably easier maybe than alcohol. And, people are, really self-medicating and, finding that they feel good from what they're using, and then it's just, never stops from there afterwards, and obviously becomes an addiction, and then, destroys families and, pulls people apart left, right, and center. And it's a super, super sad part of what's going on in the world. I listened to an awesome documentary on Netflix that you won't watch anymore. And they were just talking about, drugs obviously overseas, globally. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it is, whether it be Alaska, Las Vegas, Australia, the islands. It's everywhere. It's absolutely rampant. But, a funny thing they said, I thought, they would never, ever shut down a place like Las Vegas because it's run on prostitution and drugs. So, it's kind of like, what hope have we got, when, the world's kind of geared up for those kind of things. So that's why it's so important to be able to keep ourselves strong, and why Jason and I are so passionate about fitness, health, and, life, and keeping our mental health as, healthy as we possibly can. So on that note, I'd love to say to you guys as well, thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you enjoyed episode 12 of our Get Healthy and Happy experience. And like Jay said, if you can share it with somebody, that would be super cool. And, if not, that's cool as well. But, it just takes a share button to be able to put that through to somebody else. So you can either choose to be average, or you can choose to be healthy and happy. So have an awesome rest of your week. And, if you want any subject or anything for us to talk about, then private messages. We get some really lovely messages, which is gold when you do that. And the encouragement that you give us keeps us going for the encouragement that we don't get from others. So that's a bummer that some encourage us, because that means we keep going.
Yeah, but if ones that don't, it means we're doing something right.
Well, that's true as well, isn't it? That's true. Yeah. So thanks, crew. Thanks, everyone. See you all around. Hello, Brooke Todman. Nice to see you. And we will talk to you all very, very soon. See you this time next Monday. Thanks, crew. That one went off, didn't it?
Yeah.
Boom. We're live.
Yeah, I'm alive.
You're alive?
Yeah, I'm alive.
I'm alive too.
Yeah, lucky you told me that, otherwise I would never know. Thanks.
Yeah, but it sort of got cooled down. Oh man, that is hot.
So we would like to welcome you into
I don't think you should have the power cord in it. That's what I mean. I think my phone goes.
There's something wrong with it because
Is yours gone like that?
oh, hang on.
fitness, business, and